What is up? It is Friday. Welcome into Let's Bet It. Lauren Jabbar here with Jared Smith. Jared, it is almost the freaking weekend, and we got the AFC and NFC championship games. I'm so excited. How are you feeling?
I'm a little sad. I'm not going to lie, because it's kind of like the end
Why?
of because it's like the end of football season. Because after this
That's true.
weekend, we really only have one
Sad
more
news bears.
Sunday left. And then we don't really have any more like double game. Like it's really like Super Bowl Sunday is such a spectacle. It's like a circus. It's not like an NFL Sunday. I mean, we've experienced it firsthand. I've experienced it non-firsthand. It's a weird day. So this is like really the last like real NFL Sunday of the year. So it's a little sad. It's a little sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
But I'm
Only
excited.
3 games
We're excited.
left in the 22-23 NFL football season. It's crazy. And then there were 4 teams left, 2 in the NFC, 2 in the AFC. We have a lot to get into today. First of all, we have Geoff Schwartz coming on. I'm excited to talk to him about who he thinks is going to be in the Super Bowl this year, as well as a lot of other questions we have for him. NFL line updates. And then Jared's favorite segment, Fact or Cap. We're teaching him how to be trendy with the times now. Cap does mean lie, Jared, and
Too
fact
old.
means not a lie. But we're teaching
Old man
him. We're
yelling at
learning
the
things
clouds.
every single day. You love to say it. All right, let's get right into it. Without further ado, let's bet it. Let's get it. Let's bet it. I forgot my own tagline. You hate to see that. But let's
Jeez.
talk about NFL line updates. I know it's a rough day. It's a Friday. It's a Friday. But
Get with
we're
it,
getting into
Jabari.
it. Seriously, I know. I had coffee, but I haven't eaten anything yet, and I think that's my thing, Jared. I need food every hour on the hour to be able to function
What are you, like
in
a
real
gerbil?
life. I'm literally. I need a snack. I'm a snacker. I like snacking. I haven't had any
She's a
snacks
snacker,
yet.
everybody. That's the
Yeah,
best way to get to her.
it's true.
Food is the quickest way to get to her heart, gentlemen. For you gentlemen
It
out
is
there.
true. It is true, everybody. It is true. AFC, NFC line moves at this point right now. The 49ers Eagles game has settled right now at 2.5. Feels pretty good. I don't know who necessarily I think is going to win this one. My best friend's an Eagles fan. I kind of want to see Brock Purdy make it all the way. We'll get into that in a second. But do you feel like 2.5 at this point is a fair price for the Eagles to be laying at home against a team that's really, really good, but they still do have that rookie quarterback under center?
I do. And I wrote about this last night. It was late. I was bored, and I was like, all right, let's put on my Edgar Allan Poe hat, and let's really dive in here. Or not. It's okay. Quote the Raven, nevermore. But I do think it's a fair price, because and let's just think about it like objectively, right? Like, the Eagles are the number 1 team in the NFC. They've had the best defense, one of the best defenses all year long. They lead the NFL in sacks. They're just running through offensive lines left and right. Their offense has all-stars all over the field. They've got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and they've got one of the best offensive lines in football. And their quarterback is an MVP candidate. I mean, he's literally on the podium in a couple weeks whenever they're giving it out for the MVP award. And they're laying less than a field goal at home in a championship game against a rookie quarterback. Right? Like, imagine if it was Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or even Justin Herbert or Patrick Mahomes, and they were in the same exact position. Stud offensive line, stud defense, weapons all over the field, at home in the title game against a rookie quarterback on the other side. 2.5 feels pretty fair there, right? Like, forget the metrics and the DVOA and all the other BS. Just those elements, I think 2.5 is very fair. So, yeah, I think the more that I kind of lean into this matchup, the more I like the Eagles because of all of those things. And if Jalen Hurts plays up to that MVP-like potential, then, yeah, the Eagles are checking every box in this game. I mean, what matchup edge do they not have besides maybe a little bit of question marks about the quarterback? But I think they have an edge there too, because on the other side, the guy's a rookie and he's been fantastic. Take nothing away. But he's a rookie that's played 7 games in the NFL. So to me, Jalen Hurts is deserving of the favorite. And I think we were talking last week about maybe the Niners being a favorite in this game. And then the weekend happened and, the Eagles looked really good and the Niners looked I mean, the Niners lose that game last week if Dak doesn't throw 2 picks. I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to throw 2 picks this week. I think the Eagles are going to win.
Jalen Hurts is going to be under a lot of pressure, which will be interesting to see how he handles that, because he isn't the best against the blitz in terms of quarterback dropbacks, but at the same time, they're the better. I feel like the Eagles are the more complete team at that point, but you have to give kudos and props to a guy like Brock Purdy, because last week he had 0 interception-worthy plays the whole week against the second best, or if you say the first best in terms of the Cowboys' defense. I don't think, the Eagles' defense are amazing. They're really, really good. I don't think they are as good as the Cowboys' defense. They have a few holes here and there that maybe Brock Purdy could take advantage of. I'm looking forward to this one. That's going to be an exciting game. The most movement we've seen is from this AFC Championship line. The Chiefs had opened up at them laying 1.5, and then obviously the Patrick Mahomes news happened with his high ankle sprain, and is he going to be 100%? We saw that line flip completely to the Bengals laying 1.5, and now it's slowly started creeping back towards the Chiefs, and right now I'm seeing it at Chiefs laying 1.5 again. So it kind of started here, vacillated over, market overreacted, and now coming back to the Chiefs laying 1.5 at home. Patrick Mahomes says he's feeling really good at this point. 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this season going head-to-head against each other. Patty Ice against Joe Cool. That's a lot of icicles and coolness going on under center for both of these teams. But do you feel like the Chiefs laying 1.5 at Arrowhead is the right price for them too, even with the Patrick Mahomes injury?
I do. I think a world where they were underdogs in this game is just, I don't want to live in that world. That's bizarro world. I couldn't fathom a world where Mahomes is walking upright starting in the game and not a favorite at home. It made no sense to me. So this line, when it flipped the other day and it was Chiefs plus 2.5, that was the peak. The peak Bengals
plus
money
2.5. I forgot it got that far. Yes.
There is some really sharp, savvy bettors out there that probably have a Chiefs plus 8.5 teaser leg ticket in their back pocket. I have 7.5. I didn't give it out really yesterday or in the column because it's moved now to the point where you can't tease the Chiefs. Remember, we don't tease 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
You can. It's, taboo. But on this show, I personally don't tease 3-0. I would not tease the Chiefs at this price. I would tease the Bengals at this price, but not the Chiefs. And I think when you look at this game, again, forget all the DVOA, forget the pressure rates, and forget the this and the that and the EPA, all that garbage. It's Patrick Mahomes at home in a conference championship game, and you're laying less than a field goal. And I know he's not 100%, but we might never get this opportunity ever again for the rest of his career. It's just the circumstances of who they're playing at the time that they're playing them and the time of Patrick Mahomes' injury. All of those stars aligning and crossing at the right time is giving us a number that is pretty light on the Chiefs, frankly.
Yeah.
And I think if this game was played last week, the Chiefs are probably 3-point favorites. But because of the injury and because of how well the Bengals played last week, the optics of this game are much tighter. And I think it's a very rare opportunity to buy low on a contrarian Chiefs team, which is, I can't believe I'm even saying that word. contrarian and Chiefs and Mahomes in the same sentence, but that's where we are. I think Chiefs first half makes sense. Like if you think about it from the standpoint of the shot will probably wear off in the second half that Mahomes will get. So he'll be more effective in the first
give him
half.
another one. Give him another one.
You can't give him another one. You can't do that. That's bad.
Those shots
and
last
then,
like 4 or 5 hours, though. I will say they last 4 or 5
I
hours.
agree. Yes, he'll still be fine, but it'll start to wear off in the second half. So he'll start to feel more pain as the game goes on. And then the other reason Chiefs first half I think makes a little bit of sense is the Lou Anarumo adjustments that he is so adept at making. Those will take more as the game goes on. Will have more of an impact. So those are the plays I gave out in the column this week. Eagles straight up -2.5, and then Chiefs first half. I think those are the bets that I'm rolling with this week. I'll sprinkle in some props here or there to have some fun, but Eagles and Chiefs first half. I think the Chiefs win the game. I think it's an Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl. I think we're going to have 2 weeks of Andy Reid nostalgia porn, which is going to be awesome. And I think that's the way the game will play out.
Yeah, this weekend's going to be so much fun. Well, not even just this weekend. Sunday is going to be so much fun. Grab your wings, grab your dips, grab your popcorn, because we got ourselves 2 shows, people. Before we bring in Geoff Schwartz, let's get into Jared's favorite segment, Fact or Cap. This is actually one of my favorite segments, too. Again, for those that don't know or are a little bit older and aren't super plugged into the Gen Z era, Cap means lie. So it's fact or lie.
No idea what that meant when it first came into our show.
Well, now you're learning. We're learning things. You love to see it. Okay, this first one, and I actually bet this is one of my props this weekend. I bet the under half on this one. Brock Purdy throws his first interception. I have to say it right. Brock Purdy throws his... I have to say it right if I'm going to say it. Brock Purdy throws his
He's
first
definitely throwing a pick now. You ruined it.
No, I didn't. Third time's the charm. Come on now.
You finally wrecked him.
Brock Purdy throws his first interception of the playoffs. I bet the under a half interception on this at plus money because he had literally 0 turnover-worthy plays last week against, some might argue, the best defense in the National Football League in the Dallas Cowboys with Micah Parsons and all of those guys freaking blitzing him, and he still didn't throw a touchdown. Still didn't throw an interception. He didn't throw a touchdown either, but he didn't throw an interception. He was safe, and he made it happen. Do you think he throws an interception this week? Fact or cap?
Oh my God.
I'm off the rails right now. I'm off the rails.
That was awesome.
It's fine.
That was awesome. You are so fired up about Brock Purdy. I hate to say it, but I think you just jinxed the hell out of him with the way that you
No,
made
I
your way
didn't.
No.
I took the L for him, so he doesn't throw an interception this weekend.
All right, that's fair.
That's what that was.
That's fair. So these have become I'm glad that we're talking about this. These have become super popular, like yes, no to throw interceptions. Because it's kind of like just the fade, right? Like I see this with a lot of the bad quarterbacks every week, and I'm just gonna throw a pick. I do think there's value here because obviously the odds say he hasn't done it, but if he is going to do it, there are some variables in this game that lead to a yes. The first one being, the Eagles defense actually, metrically speaking, is better than Dallas's. The pass defense, especially, they've got the number 1 pass defense in the DVOA rankings and in the entire NFL. Dallas is 3rd. And I'm not saying that, Dallas or San Francisco is better than one or the other. I would say they're both probably dead even, but he's facing another really tough defense this week that could absolutely trip him up. The other one is he's on the road. And I know he went on the road and, that Thursday night game in Seattle, and he almost threw a really bad pick in that game, actually. That should have been intercepted. I'll go fact just to back up my girl LJ, but I'll be honest, this is the one game where I could see him throwing a pick just because of
then you'd be Cap, Jared. Then it would be Cap because the statement is Brock Purdy throws his first interception, so it would be Cap.
Then Cap. Sorry, I'm super confused by the rules of this game, but I love our Gen Z producer, and I will back him up and say Cap here just to back you up. Just to back you up.
Factor Cap.
Backing up everybody today. I'm the backup.
I like it. Yeah, I don't think Brock Purdy's going to throw an interception this weekend, and we'll talk to Geoff about that too. But Jalen Hurts Does he have over 100 rushing yards? Is that a fact or a cap?
Whoa, that's a cap. That's a monster number. I think he'll have a good
I'm on
game on
Jalen
the
Hurts
ground.
having a rushing touchdown at plus money
I
too.
like
Those
that.
are my two props actually this weekend. Is Brock Purdy no interception and Jalen Hurts 1 rushing touchdown.
Here's why I like that. He's caught. I looked at this last night. He scored in 10 of 16 games. That's about a 60-something% chance, which is about minus 160 odds. So you're getting it at plus money. You know, we used to do this with Nerfies all the time. This guy's hit 8 out of 10. It's 80%. That's like minus a gajillion odds. No, it's like minus like 700. And in the Nerfy bets, like plus 105 or something. Like, yeah, you've got a lot of plus EV gap there. So, yeah, I think 10 out of 16 minus 167 is the implied odds of 10 out of 16. So at plus money, you're getting that as a good price. But over 100
To be
yards,
honest, you're
insane.
throwing all these numbers out there. In my mind, it's like that GIF, like with all of the like numbers going around my head. I have no clue what that was, but I will say he has had 6 rushing touchdowns in his last 5 starts, so that makes me pretty confident.
Yeah, 10 out of 16.
What about?
It's not that hard. 10 out of 16. You can do the math.
Like
you're a math. You're a friend of math. Right? 10 divided by 16. 10 divided by 16 is, hold on, I messed it up. 10 divided by 16 is 62.5%. 62.5% in odds is minus 167. So if you just take his hit rate for the year and you transmute it to what the odds of it are, he is scoring at a rate of about minus 167. And you're getting plus whatever for that bet. So you see that gap between minus 167 and plus 120. That's your plus EV right there. If you just use the hit rate as your indicator.
I love that. Andy scored 6 rushing touchdowns in the last 5 starts that he's had, so I like that.
He's not going over 100 yards, though, so that's a cap.
Okay, factor cap. Chris Jones records his first ever playoff sack. Fact cap.
I like Chris Jones. He's a stud.
Okay. Joe Burrow passes for over 300 yards. Factor cap.
Cap. I don't think Burrow's going to have as good of a game. I think Spags is going to. I think Spags is going to blitz the hell out of him.
Might be a little warm. Yeah.
Yeah. Spags is going to blitz the hell out of him.
What about factor cap? Last one for me. The Eagles and Chiefs meet in the Super Bowl. Factor cap.
That's the vibe. That's my vibe this week. I mean, and again, I was on the Niners train last week because I thought the Niners might open as a favorite, but I think the market tells me that Philly is the right side, and I'm gonna roll with that. I think the Eagles-Bengals game, there's a lot more variance there because of Mahomes' ankle, but man, this is like the legacy game. This is like the Jordan flu game for Patrick Mahomes, and I think the Burrow window will be open for another year or two, and they'll be back, but I think this is the Chiefs' game. I think this is their game. Just no, analytical research or anything. Just vibes and gut and the crystal ball. The way I see it playing out, I just think it's going to be Mahomes' game.
Factor cap. Geoff Schwartz is one of the coolest people out there. That is a fact, and let's bring him in next.
One of the smartest people out there.
8-year NFL host of Fact Home today at Sirius XM 373, and host of Geoff Schwartz is smarter than you. Jeff, are you smarter than me?
I love the name of podcast.
Both of you guys, actually. Yeah, that's an important part of my podcast. I have to let everyone know at all times. Yes. No.
Love that.
Just for football things. Just for offensive line stuff only. That's it.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Well, first of all, we're so excited to have you on the show. And speaking of an O-line, a lot of people were doubting the Bengals O-line last week. Well, guess what? The Bengals run the ball 34 times for 172 yards, even missing 3 of their starters. How do you think that their banged-up O-line is going to hold up this weekend with Chris Jones and the Chiefs front that they have over there at Arrowhead Stadium?
It never seems to matter. I don't know. I mean, last year they gave up 9 sacks on the road to the Titans and then came into Kansas City and didn't matter that weekend. It didn't matter last weekend in Buffalo. Why would it matter now? Seriously, why would it matter? It's never mattered. I mean, in any other time I would tell you, fade the Bengals, take all their unders, do all those things. But why? Why? It has never mattered. And why would it matter this weekend? I mean, Kansas City, they have pressured Burrow a ton. I think they're second in the NFL in pressure, which feels odd as a Chiefs fan. I watch all their games. Doesn't feel that way when I watch them play. Chris Jones has gone home a lot the previous 2 games. Last game, he only got home twice, 2 pressures last game. But yeah, there's a big advantage for the Chiefs if they can get pressure on Burrow, but it seems to not matter at all. The rushing defense can be hit or miss if you're Kansas City. Their linebackers at times hit or miss. They're going to tackle well or not. So I would say it doesn't matter as much because the Bengals have shown with Joe Burrow back there, their offensive line is not as important as it would be for other teams who have the same issues the Bengals have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting, games within the games here with the matchups up front. And I think the same could be said about how the Chiefs handle the game plan with Patrick Mahomes. I like the fact that Andy Reid has an extra day. You would think he's going to scheme up, the gadgets and the gizmo. It's going to be the top shelf stuff this week, right? And especially the stuff that allows Mahomes to get the ball out quick and not to have to hold and wait. And a lot of those little quick hitters. I see Jerick McKinnon, and I think Pacheco have a good game too, but McKinnon's come on a little bit of late. He out-snapped Pacheco last week and started to, up that target share. And I think Tony's another guy I would look at this week that might have good games because, you get the ball out quick, you get it in their hands, you let them do the heavy lifting. You don't put the onus as much on Patrick Mahomes. I'm sure he'll have his moments where he has to scramble around in this game. But Andy Reid, with that extra day, gives a chance to throw in some of those gadgets and gizmos that make Mahomes look might not need to be as mobile in this game as we think he will be.
Yeah, it's very interesting how this can go because there's many different options here, right? So I think the Bengals probably sit back in zone and say, look, man, we're going to rush you as we normally do. And they have been pretty good at getting pressure on Mahomes. They kind of just squeeze the pocket down and play zone and say, hey, look, Travis Kelce, you're not going to beat us, right? So where do the Chiefs go for offense? And this is the one game where they actually I would say, miss Tyreek Hill, right? They don't have that receiving option. That guy is Kadarius Toney. He's the next guy up who I would say, look, who can beat man coverage the best? It's Toney, right? It's not Juju. It's not MVS. McCole Hardman being active is important. I think if he's that guy as well, if he's on the field, if he's active, he's that guy. He had a deep ball against them. I believe it was in the AFC Championship game last year, early in that game as well. So look to Hardman. Too. Yeah. Or Toney, if Hardman's active in this game, is being the guys that can scoot against man coverage or even in zone. If they're doubling Kelce, someone will be one-on-one. And those are the two guys that can beat man coverage better than MVS or Juju. The running back stuff is tough because they do a lot of running back by committee and who has the hot hand. Yeah. So it might be Pacheco, it might be McKinnon. Now McKinnon's more in the passing game, but last weekend everyone took his over for props and he didn't touch the ball one time. So it's so hard for the Chiefs running backs, in my opinion, to look at, okay, who's getting the carries, who's not, because a lot of it is who's hot, who needs the rest, who's in now, who's not. I don't think they specifically put in guys based on situation and formations. They say, okay, you're the hot guy, we'll leave you in. Okay, your turn to rest, we'll put someone else in. They're very interchangeable in that aspect. But I do think Mahomes is going to have to be the offense as usual. His number was 280 earlier this week. He's going to have to throw for 300 yards, I think, for them to win this game.
Totally agree.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see if Patrick Mahomes can be able, as he usually is, with the whole shot, the tape, and a week of stim. The NFC side, because obviously right now Brock Purdy has been the guy for the 49ers. Last week, very impressed with the fact that he had 0 turnover-worthy throws, which is wild. But now you're going up against a team like the Eagles, who have maybe one of the best O-lines in NFL this season. And that's usually sometimes like Christian McCaffrey wants to take advantage of the run in this game. But is the Eagles O-line the 49ers have seen all season? Are they going to put Brock Purdy under a lot of pressure, as much pressure as we saw last week that the Cowboys put on him?
This game feels fairly simple to me, and I don't know why. I think people are overcomplicating it. You have one team in the Eagles who have built their offense around their quarterback, right? And Jalen Hurts makes this team go. And you have one team who just plays with their quarterback. Brock Purdy is in the offense, right? He's in the offense. And the Eagles' offense is because of Jalen Hurts, right? They're two different styles of football here. And you mentioned the offensive defensive line matchup in this game. So the Eagles' offensive line is the best the Niners have played all season. They can handle the Niners' pass rush. Will it be perfect? Of course not. It's never perfect. But they have 5 guys who can handle the Niners' pass rush. If you neutralize the pass rush, you can run the football, obviously. You can throw the football, obviously. And allows you to move your offense. On the other side, the Niners only have 1 Trent Williams. Not 5 Trent Williams, 1 Trent Williams. Just one of those guys. Wish they had 5. The Eagles have the advantage everywhere else. Reddick and Hargraves and Cox have the advantage on the rest of the 4 Niners offensive linemen. And if the Niners get behind, if they get into 3rd and 8, 2nd and 11s, things where Brock Purdy doesn't have it dialed up and schemed up exactly how Shanahan wants, that's where you get in trouble. We saw early in the game last week, a little bit of pressure in that pocket. He's scrambling out to the left. Look, the Kittle play was great and all. That's a terrible decision. Across his body, all the way across the field, 40 yards down. It wasn't even a good throw. Yeah. And if Diggs opened his eyes and just would have hit Kittle, the ball's not even caught anyways, right? So, like, there's going to be a play that Purdy's going to want back in this game. This one, to me, is not very hard. I think the Eagles win this game by a touchdown. They're better, in my opinion. And rookie quarterback on the road, this is the toughest test for him so far. And the Eagles are really good. So I think the Eagles actually win and cover this game. They're just better at the more important positions. And lastly, too, guys, this is not talked about often. I think it's important in these games. The Eagles are better in the fringes, right? They're better on 4th down. They're better at making 4th down decisions. Kyle Shanahan is terrible at that. He plays like he plays to survive the game. The Eagles play to win the game. 4th and 2. Who's going for it? The Eagles are, not Shanahan. He's getting the field goal. Those things matter in games like this.
I agree. Geoff, I honestly think the one game that's very decisive for me is the NFC game. I feel the more that I looked into it throughout the week, the more that I got into it, and I was like, yeah, Jalen. It basically comes down to Jalen Hurts against Brock Purdy. Yes. And I just Jalen Hurts is laying less than a field goal against Brock Purdy. Like, I think that's what this boils down to. And one guy's going to the MVP podium next weekend, and the other guy is not. So it's just, to me, that is it's a very simple handicap. Usually it starts and ends at quarterback. And I think with this particular game, the scales are pretty tipped in the Eagles' favor. The other game I do feel pretty up in the air about because of just how tough and just gritty this Bengals team has been. And you can't count them out. If they're down 10 points in the 4th quarter, you can't count them out. And I don't know what we're going to get from Mahomes. I think he's going to play a little better than what the market's telling us, but I don't know that for sure. I think there's a little value on the Chiefs. But I've been, the last 24 hours or so, I've been kind of dead set on Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl. Is that where you think, as we're here Friday morning?
It's worth pointing out the Chiefs have lost the 3 games to the Bengals, obviously. They've been up by at least 7 points in all the games. And they had a 4th quarter win expectancy of 75% or greater in all 3 of the games. So it's not like they've been blown out.
Crazy.
It's not like they, they just kind of things have to kind of break their way at times. I mean, going back to last season, the AFC Championship game, like how improbable they threw a weird interception, like, Tyreek Hill gets stopped in 1 yard, like all these things sort of weirdly happened. And I do think there is this like back against the wall. Mahomes is hurt. We all have to kind of band together. And I wish Willie Gay didn't talk. I think it was him who said, like, I don't care about the Bengals offense. It was so quiet in Kansas City all week, and the Bengals players were burrowhead and talking so much. It's like, Chiefs, just be quiet. So I'm going to homer this pick. I am a Chiefs fan a little bit. I'm going to go Kansas City here. It is kind of funny the freak out this week about the number. Like, it went from 1.5 to 2 to 1.5. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, we could slow our roll a little bit on that. People freak out. Vegas knows Mahomes is not playing. Yeah, well, yeah. I got
the one thing where you
I got
get
Chiefs
some
8.5.
value on both
Thank
sides.
You
Played it right.
Yeah, I got Chiefs 8.5. Thank you. But like that idea that like Mahomes wasn't playing on Sunday because the line moved because a bunch of public people bet the Bengals. It's like this such a silly storyline. Mahomes is playing. He's healthy. He's ready to go. I'll take the Chiefs here. And I'll homer this pick. It's gonna be tough, man. It's coming down to a field goal. It'll be a field goal game either way.
Get ready for
Geoff,
2 weeks of Andy Reid nostalgia porn, Geoff. Andy Reid nostalgia porn, baby. Chiefs and Eagles.
I hope. Oh,
Let's
man.
go.
If he were to, and then if he lose that game too, it's going to be just, it's going to be, I hope,
man.
It'll be so bad.
It's good. I mean, the networks are going to eat this up with the Andy Reid.
Oh my
stuff.
God. It's going to be so bad.
It's going to be in your face the whole time. I mean,
they got to
come up with something to talk about.
And if you thought that people liked Mahomes before, wait till he wins a game hobbling around on the field.
God bless.
You'll never hear the end of it. Never heard the end.
This is the legacy game for him. This is the Jordan flu game. It really is. I mean, it really does feel that way.
Agreed.
Geoff, it has been decided you are absolutely smarter than both of us. I'm glad you came on the show. Thank you so much.
Great job.
Take care, guys. Have a good weekend. Take care.
We appreciate you, bud.
Peace out. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Geoff Schwartz, host of Pac-12 Today on Sirius XM 373, and host of Geoff Schwartz is smarter than you.
That's a hell of a name.
Before we can I know,
Hell of a
seriously.
name.
It's like the biggest flex ever. I love it. Before we get into
I
our
love
best
it.
bets, let's bet it. Presented by our friends at Superbook Sports. Pile up the wins. Pile up the money with our friends at Superbook. Right now, the best betting app from Las Vegas is giving you free money. Every week, you make a bet. Just place a $50 bet each week with Superbook, and they'll give you a $5 bonus up to $50 for betting each week afterwards. So if you're in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Nevada, New Jersey, or Tennessee, download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com to get your streak started today. From superbook.com to pickswise.com, Jared, 3-star plays of the day. Who we got on the site today?
We have a lot today, and I'll preface it first by saying I do not have a best bet today because there's only 10 college basketball games on the card. There's only one Mountain West game. I didn't love it, and I'm not just going to force a bet and give you guys, make you guys bet on something that I'm not personally betting myself. I have no wagers tonight. I was probably going to, I don't know, leave my cave for a minute and go enjoy some sunshine and some nightlife before I hunkered down for the weekend of tomorrow's going to be a really good college basketball day. And then Sunday, obviously being the NFL. So I don't have a best bet for you today, but I will give you something on the site that is, in my opinion, juicy. And it's really juicy, actually. It's something that you would probably bet or look at to bet. And it's the Blue Jackets and the Canucks. You know me, guys. I don't bet a ton of NHL. That's where Lauren lives. That's Lauren's vibe. But Tyler Mortimer's got a Canucks Blue Jackets 3-star bet on the site today. And maybe Lauren can add to it based off of her hockey knowledge. But it's Rick Tocchet's third game as coach for the Canucks. Obviously, there's a bit of a transition going on in Vancouver right now. And it's a juicy one. But I do like the handicap that Tyler wrote up for the site. And it is available for you right now over at Pickswise.com. There's a couple of other 3-stars on the site. There's an Aqueduct race today. Martin Pennington's got the ponies in action today. Aqueduct race 5. Rasa Veloci. Love the horse names. The pony names always make me smile. And then Philip Tomich has a Bucks Pacers side. But if I was going to pick one out of these 3 that I would bet on tonight, it is the Canucks and the Blue Jackets. Tyler Mortimer's got a good ride up there. So 3 stars on the site. 3 of them for you today, and then some of them for the weekend as well with college. With NFL and some tennis as well. So lots of stuff. Again, no best bet, no 3-star for me today. But I will fully endorse all of them on the site, including Tyler Mortimer's Canucks Blue Jackets moneyline bet.
Yeah, I'm also taking mine to the ice. I like the Vegas Golden Knights, New York Rangers under. The under 6 at -118 right now. I know. Let's go. Vegas, they spent the first half of the season leading the Pacific. They've been in a slump recently. They're 2-5-1 their last 8. They're on a 6-game road trip right now. They started out 0-1-1. And they opened the trip with a loss to the Coyotes, which isn't great. They had an overtime loss to the Devils on Tuesday. The offense right now is ice cold. They scored only 8 goals in their losses so far in that stretch over 8 games. So I look at the under here and I'm like, okay. And then Igor Shesterkin's between the pipes and I'm like, okay. The one thing that worries me right now is Logan Thompson. He has an 8-10-1 record, 901 save percentage since mid-November. So he hasn't been great, but like his goals against average has gone up every single month, which isn't good. You want your goals against average to go down. He started the season 1.69, then 2.88, then 2.93, and now in January it's 3.03. So that makes me a little bit worried with that. But then you look at the Rangers right now, and they've kind of revamped their lines recently because before they did, I know they split their games since revamping their lines, but the 4 games before they started revamping them, they only scored a total of 7 goals. Their offense has not really been clicking recently. They have been winning still. They're 15-4-3 in their last 22 games, 8-3-0 at home since December 3rd, which is really good. So if you were to make a money line bet too, their money line's a little juicy at -154. I might look at the 60-minute money line in that spot. We'll see what happens. But at the same time, I trust Igor Shesterkin between the pipes. He's 21-8-7 on the season for a reason. 2.46 goals against average, 918 save percentage. New York won the first game. I could see them taking advantage at home again. But both offenses are struggling. Igor Shesterkin between the pipes. I'm hoping Logan Thompson has a better game than he's had so far on the road during this stretch. But I would expect kind of like a 3-1, 3-2 kind of a game. So I like the under. Under 6 -118. That is my best bet. That's it for us today, guys. Find us on the Pickswise YouTube channel. Go to Pickswise.com. Follow us on Twitter. That's Jared Smith. I'm Lauren Jabara. We'll see you guys this weekend, AFC, NFC championship games. Until then, peace out.